So you might remember somebody telling you something like every good boy does fine for the lines and then FACE for the spaces. Almost all of the best musicians who sight read do not use every good boy does fine in FACE. All they use is something called a reference point. So our reference point is where the note E is on the first line. We go from E to F. Check this out up here. E to F is right here, and E to F is right here. If we go up E to G, we're going up E to G. It's basically telling you how many steps are you above from your reference point, okay? You use this as your reference point and you just count. It's called the circle of fifths because if you see the start where we're at C major and you go up a fifth, C, D, E, F, G, that is the next key that gains 1 sharp. We go up a fifth from G, we have D. That one is 2 sharp. We can see that G major has 1 sharp, which is F sharp. If we go up a fifth from F sharp, F, G, A, B, C, C sharp, look at D major. It has an F sharp and a C sharp. Let's take a look at A major. It has F sharp, C sharp, so we took it from D major. Go up a fifth from C sharp, C, D, E, F, G. There's your G sharp. So everything works in fifths. If we go over the flats, C to F, C, D, E, F is a fourth, right? F to B flat is another fourth, so on and so forth. If you want to take a look at the key signature, if F has a B flat, let's count up a fourth from B flat. B, C, D, E. E flat. It's pretty simple, right? Let's count up a fourth from E flat. E, F, G, A flat. So that means that E flat major would have B flat, E flat, and A flat. I almost call counterclockwise the circle of fourths because it actually goes in fourths. All of the intervals in the major scale is going to start with the word major, okay? Because it's derived mostly from the major scale except for the perfect fourth, the perfect fifth, and the P8, which means perfect octave, okay? So basically what you want to be able to do is see 2 different notes and be able to know the intervals between them and also be able to hear them properly. On the guitar, the easiest one is going to be your octave and your perfect fifth, because an octave, you can think of it as the low E string and then hitting the high E string. That's actually 2 octaves apart, but it's the same exact concept, okay? Think of it also, we're going to go with the perfect fifth and the octave as a power chord, okay? A power chord shape consists of a fifth and then an octave, okay? So if we have 3 sharps here, go to the last sharp, G sharp, go up a half step. The answer is A. So that would mean we're in the key of A. This piece right here is a good example. It has 3 sharps, so you can basically go to the last sharp, which is G sharp, and go up a half step. So as you can see here, we have 2 flats, okay? Now, how do we figure out what key we're in based on the flats? Either do it the way of the circle of fifths or the circle of fourths. Is all you have to do is go to the second to last flat, and that is your key. This note, that is your key. It's that simple. There's no need to count up in steps or anything. Just go to the second to last one. So in a nutshell, these are how our chords work. You put a root at the bottom, a third, and then a fifth, okay? So this is just showing you how a chord is stacked as a root, third, and fifth. Now, how do you figure out the distance of a third and then the distance of a fifth? All I did was I went from C to E, which is a major third, as we already learned, and then E to G, which is a minor third. Or you can think of it as C to G, which is a perfect fifth. Minor chords go in the same way, except we're flipping it. So a minor third is at the bottom, C to E flat, and then a major third from E flat to G. Now, in my opinion, the easiest way to figure out a chord is to start at your root, your first note, go up a third, and then go back to your root and go up a fifth. So root, third, and fifth. All we do is we play a regular minor scale, and then we bump up the 7th scale degree by 1/2 step. So this D sharp that you see right here is usually D natural if we're playing an E minor scale, but I bumped it up a 1/2 step, and it's going to give it this really creepy, eerie feel. So what is a key? A key is basically what scale are we basing this composition off of. Let's take Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, for example. E major scale. It's very evident because there are 4 sharps in the E major scale: F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and D sharp. Started on an E, ended with a nice E. Let's say we're doing a D diminished arpeggio. So we're going to play D and F, aka 10th fret and 13th fret. And then you're going to do the same position using all the other strings up a fret. B string, you got to bump it up 2 frets. And then E string 1 fret. All a diminished tapping lick is basically using the minor third positions going up a fret, except on the B string you got to go up 2 frets. So it should be 10, 13, and then 16. Same thing for the other strings, up a fret. B string up 2 frets. And then 1 fret for the high E. Diminished scale shape number 1. Diminished scale shape number 2. Diminished scale shape number 3. Phrygian dominant scale is literally the same thing as the harmonic minor scale, except you start on the 5th scale degree. So if we're an E harmonic minor, that means we'd start on the 5th, which is B. So playing a 1 chord to a 3 chord to a 5 chord is a really easy way of using common tones. Like for example, if we do C major, E minor, and then G major, those have a lot of common tones, as you can see right up here. C major has C, E, G, but then for E minor, we can do B, E, G in second inversion, and then for G major, we can do B, D, G. Sweep picking, we can do something like this. Tonic, the subdominant, the dominant, and the diminished, aka the 1, 4, 5, and the 7. So the 1 would be F minor. The 4 would be B flat minor. The 5 would be a C7 arpeggio. And then the 7 would be a simple diminished shape. Pretty awesome. So real quick here, if you're trying to sound more classical and you're playing, you need to master the dominant chord, aka the 5-7 chord. So let's say we're in F minor. If we think of F minor and then we think of the dominant chord, the 5 chord, we're going to be playing C, E, G, and B flat, right? What we can do if we want to do a little sweep is we can do 5, 5, 3, 6. It's a really nice, easy way to go back to your tonic. A lot of what I talk about with my students is how the diminished arpeggio and the dominant 7 arpeggio diatonically can be interchanged with each other. What I mean by that is the chords are almost the exact same. If you hear a dominant 7 chord, you can actually play the diminished 7 arpeggio, or vice versa. If we're in the key of A minor, dominant chord would be E7, right? The diminished 7 chord starting on G sharp. See, I just kind of interchange them because they're almost the exact same thing. The dominant 7 shape, which we're starting on the 7th of the dominant chord, which is D. You can actually start on the same exact spot with the diminished shape, which is pretty cool. And they both end up sounding almost identical. So we all know the harmonic minor scale is just the natural minor scale with the raised 7th, right? If we want to make that a Neapolitan minor scale, all we have to do is flat the 2. The time that we want to use that is if we use a Neapolitan chord progression. Like what we can do is we can sweep pick E minor, F major, which would be our Neapolitan chord. We can go to our dominant chord, which would be B7. So let's talk about predominant chords and sweep picking on the guitar. So predominant chord is exactly how it sounds. So you can use something like the 2 chord, you can use the 4 chord, or you can use the 6 chord. And it's basically what you want to play before you get to your dominant chord. So if we were in the key of D minor and we started with a D minor arpeggio, and then from there, if we wanted to play some sort of a predominant chord, like let's say the 6th chord, so we'd have to play B flat major. That would be a good time right here to go back a half step onto the note A and then play our A dominant 7. What is a Neapolitan chord? Flat 2, major chord. So if we're in E minor, all we do is go up a half step to F and then make a major chord out of it. So it'd be F, A, and C. The Neapolitan chord resolves really nicely to the subdominant chord, aka the 4 chord, because F, A, and C and A, C, and E share a lot of common tones. Sweep picking chord extensions part 2, we're going to talk about 11ths this time. So basically an 11th is a added 4th up an octave, right? So G minor again, and what we're going to do is we're going to add the note C in there. 10th fret to the 13th fret on the A string, and then 12 on the D, 12 on the G, and then on the B you can hit the 11 to 13, 18, 17 on the high E. So let's talk about borrowed chords real quick and how we can use them with sweep picking. So borrowed chords are a really common thing that you can do with your chord progressions to really spice things up so that way things don't sound the same. So essentially is what you can do is you can borrow things from the parallel major or the parallel minor, or borrowing it from pretty much any key really. But for this example, we're going to be in the key of A major. So we're going to play an A major arpeggio on the 12th fret of the A string. And then from there, instead of doing what we would usually do for a 4 chord, which would be our subdominant, so that would be D major, we're actually going to do a D minor chord, okay? So that would be considered a flat 6, right? Because instead of having an F sharp in there, we're having an F natural to make that D minor sound, right? Let's hear how it sounds.